Thanks, Brandon. As the county continues the push to find poll workers with the new election season around the corner, some local residents raised concerns in the Board of Supervisors meeting today over where some of the poll workers were from. So 23 ABC's Vanya Patino spoke with the Registrar of Voters about the situation. She joins us now in studio with more. Vanya.
Some of the concerns expressed were about having poll workers from the latest election who were not registered voters or were not from here in Kern County.
By state law at this point, yes, even if you're not a citizen, if as long as you're a legal, resident, in the country, you can be a poll worker. As I say, we've never used, non-registered voters in the past, other than students, but that is the law.
Now, for the issue of poll workers being county residents, Mary Bedard, the Auditor Controller County Clerk, says the law doesn't say you have to be registered in Kern County to be a poll worker in Kern County. Now, in terms of the election irregularities during the recall that were also brought up, Mary Bedard said they did everything by the book.
There really isn't an issue with election integrity in Kern County. We follow the law. If people don't like the law in California, they can, try to get it changed, but we will always follow the law.
But aside from the elections themselves, now the position overseeing the elections is being questioned. That is Bedard's position, the Auditor Controller County Clerk, which also includes Register of Voters. The qualifications include being a certified public accountant, have a college degree in accounting or equivalent, served 5 years in a senior fiscal management position in the county, among others.
People who might want to run to be county clerk and Registrar of Voters, if they're not an accountant, they can't. And so that may be part of the reason for some of the people's interest in separating out the two, as I say, or in other people, I think, would like it, just kind of philosophically, would like it to be an appointed office appointed by the Board of Supervisors.
Community residents who spoke about wanting to see something like this were told that it was a little too late since candidate filing has closed for this upcoming election and the next available chance is in 2026. At the Live Center, Vanya Patino, 23 ABC News, connecting you.
Thanks, Vanya. And today, March 15th, marks National Equal Pay Day across the country. Earlier this afternoon, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris spoke at the White House event calling on fair and competitive wages for women across the U.S.
If we are going to continue to grow our economy and to be competitive and lead the world in the 21st century, we simply cannot afford to leave half of our workforce behind.
Though the last 40 years has seen great progress in bridging pay gap between men and women, the Economic Policy Institute says women were still paid an average of 22.1% less than men in 2021. And the Federal Reserve is meeting this week, and the group is expected to announce a pullback on the economic assistance it provided during the COVID-19 pandemic. Newsy's Bianca Fascini reports.
Over 2 years in, the Federal Reserve is ready to rein in financial relief it provided during the pandemic. To start, that means a rise in interest rates.
The only question is really whether it would be, a quarter of a percentage point or half.
Officials are expected to announce a quarter percentage point rate hike, up from 0. But it's not clear how many increases could take place after throughout the year.
My sense is that we'll see 5. I think the Fed is going to be data dependent, and they're going to be looking at the data as we go through the course of the year.
What this means for consumers is money will become more expensive to borrow. So if you want to take out a loan to buy a home, you'll be paying higher interest on it. The reason the Fed wants to raise rates is to cool inflation, which has in part been driven by demand. And though the economy has recovered in many ways since, major challenges lie ahead. But it's not just COVID-19 the economy has to worry about anymore. Now, a new crisis abounds.
It just complicated the Federal Reserve's task of increasing interest rates to cool inflation while not snuffing out growth.
The war in Ukraine leaves even more uncertainty, both at home and abroad.
The near-term effects on the U.S. economy of the invasion of Ukraine, the ongoing war with sanctions, and of events yet to come remain highly uncertain.
Even Fed Chair Jerome Powell urged officials to move carefully as they assess the potential economic damage to come. Bianca Fascini, Newsy, Washington.